What do we have today?
Well, maybe a slight twist on a gin and tonic today. A Tom Collins cocktail, which is
what's that?
gin, a bit of sugar syrup, a squeeze of a lemon, some lemon juice, and then soda water to top up. So it's a bit longer than a gin and tonic, but very refreshing if it's still warm where you are.
Very good. And if you're looking for a non-alcoholic alternative, there's a glass of milk in the fridge.
Oh, lovely.
I think that's quite helpful.
Yeah.
So it's confession time, and today's comes from Jeremy. Jeremy, thank you very much indeed for sending this in, Father Simon and the Committed Collective. Is this okay? Yes, I think this is fine. I feel that the time has come in my life to air my confession and seek forgiveness for the eventful day in July 1991 when my grandfather passed away at the ripe old age of 89. My grandparents and the majority of the extended family lived in Hampshire, whilst my parents, together with me and my other siblings, lived up north in Lincolnshire. Due to work commitments and probably other family politics that I can't remember now, I was the chosen one who got the task, or got the duty, to take my mother down to Hampshire for the funeral to be held at Southampton Crematorium. The instructions duly taken by landline, no mobile phones to text on back in those days. We set off the day before to allow plenty of time for the 10 a.m. service the following morning. That is an early one.
It is.
Hence the problem. A day of reflection in the car as we drove down, where my mother regaled us with stories of how she first met her in-laws and memories of happy times gone by, helped pass the then very long journey down to the travel lodge for a night stay prior to the family meet-up the following day. Rising early on the day of the funeral, I dressed in my then top man suit and had a quick breakfast before getting into the car for the short drive into the city, following my mum's carefully written down directions and instructions to get to the crematorium. All started well, and then the traffic ground to a halt on the ring road with nothing moving in either direction. We sat and waited patiently. Time ticked on. The witching hour of 10 a.m. was fast approaching. We were going to be late. Traffic, just as we started to despair, then started to ease slowly, and our hopes reappeared. Maybe we had a last-minute chance to get to the creme on time. Well, we made it to the crematorium car park, which by now was full. 10 a.m. had been and gone, but we were not deterred. We abandoned the car at the very end of the car park and hot-footed it down to the very long driveway to the entrance. "East or West Chapel?" I shouted to my mum as we flew in the entrance.
Oh, right.
The colour drained from her face was an instant giveaway she didn't have a clue. Looking on the board, I could see my granddad's name in the daily running order, or order of service.
Yes, running order.
And I could see that. We rushed over to the East Chapel entrance and slowly opened the door. Given that this was a modern building, surely someone in the council could have afforded a can of WD-40, but alas not, as the door gave out an almighty squeak as we slowly opened it, nodding and bowing our heads in respect and embarrassment as we edged our way in and took our seats a few rows in on the right-hand side. We picked up the order of service and settled in, congratulating ourselves on mission accomplished. Having had a few minutes to compose myself, I asked my mum if that was Auntie Marion on the right next to my gran. My mum, looking at the back of the head, started to say who she thought they all were, and then stopped when she got to my gran and my Uncle Malcolm. Uncle Malcolm was a very large, broad-shouldered, gentle giant. So the 4-foot guy with an ill-fitting suit next to my gran, who had somehow dyed her grey hair jet black, wasn't really fitting the bill. And at that point, the vicar said, "We will now sing one of Clive's favourite hymns."
Oh, no.
And the penny dropped that we were in the wrong service, in the wrong chapel. The music began playing from the speakers and we hightailed out of there and set off down the corridor like two naughty school children to the other chapel. Given that there were only 2 chapels, this had to be the right one, and as I opened the door we could see my gran and uncle just leaving via the exit at the back towards the Garden of Remembrance. Other members of the family were starting to follow. We had missed the service. But my quick-thinking mum said, "Quick, join the back of the crowd, and we'll follow them out." Once outside, we congratulated ourselves on our mission and then made our way to the immediate family to offer what I thought would be apologies. Stood next to my mum, she gave my gran, uncle, aunt and the rest of the clan a kiss before opening her mouth and saying, "Beautiful service. Ted would have been so proud." I stood there looking like some kind of demented goldfish, my mouth opening and closing, but no words coming out at the sheer shock of my mum's lies. And astounded that she could put on such a front, my uncle turned to me and we exchanged the usual pleasantries, and he then asked what I was holding in my hand. An order of service, I said. Why is yours green and everyone else's is white? Now, I can tell a white lie with the best of them, but my mind was blank. My face was reddening and the world was closing in on me. At that point, a voice behind me piped up, "Oh, he collects them." Turning...
Oh, yeah, of course he does.
Turning to see my mum, announcing this like it was some fantastic idea. Of course it's not unusual. I mean, surely everyone has a son who collects funeral orders of service.
Oh, no.
Looking at me like I'd literally just fallen from the sky, my uncle handed me his and said, "You better have this one then," and turned to talk to anyone else.
Yeah.
Walking back to the car, my mum announced, "I think that went okay."
No.
And we both just fell about laughing like two demented hyenas before getting into the car, and the icing on the cake being a parking ticket stuck to the window.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Brother Simon, I seek forgiveness for our lies as we never did let on, that we missed the family funeral, and now with many of the congregation no longer with us, we can't formally confess to them, and so we seek your forgiveness instead. And no, I didn't keep the order of service, and neither do I collect them.
No.
Just for the record. But what a fast-thinking mother that was.
Yeah.
Jeremy needing forgiveness because most of the congregation no longer with us, but maybe Sister Susie can speak for everybody. Here we go.
Well, I just can't quite get over his mum. I just don't think he needs forgiveness at all. I think she does. You know, you managed to get there. The chances are that there were two funerals happening at the same time in different chapels is just bad luck, really. Your mum managed to get through quite a few of the congregation before she realised she was in the wrong one. Yes. And you'll forever be known, Jeremy, as the person who collects order of services in your family. You're going to be that weird one. So for that reason, I forgive you. It's not your fault, and it's a bit mean.
Brother from another gutter.
I mean, definitely. Let's congratulate the mother here. What quick thinking that is. He collects orders of service. He's a bit